All right. We just capped off an amazing event for Operly here in Isla Morada, and I am beyond excited to be a part of this project. So Jay Cortez here.
Jim Bunch.
And we are looking forward to share just some of the most amazing technologies that help you streamline. For me, efficiency is a big thing. I'm always asking myself in the back of my mind, is this the most efficient way to do this? And if it's not, I'm seeking for the answer so that this way, if I have to repeat that process, I'm doing this the most efficient way possible. So Jim, why don't you dive into like the genesis of Operly? Like where did this idea come from?
Well, from years of building companies, over 30 years, and scaling companies, one of the things that's apparent is your success has a lot to do with your ability to manage a lot of things. And in the past, we had to hire a lot of people. So one of our companies, we scaled from 6 employees to 1,500 our first year.
Oh, wow.
So you got a lot of human capital. Right? But about 6-7 years ago, we started looking at machine learning and AI, and I've been talking about this since 2014 as one of the disruptive technologies that was going to allow us to actually further our visions and our missions faster, right, but not have to be dependent on human resource only. And so just in the last 30 days, something really interesting's happened where, 3 years ago, everybody heard about ChatGPT and they're like, wow, it's really cool. I type something in and all of a sudden I got a strategic business plan, or I've got a cooking recipe, or I've got all that. The last 30 days, though, people have tapped into something that I've been talking about for now 3 years, which is the future of business is, I'm going to have my team, my employees, but every one of them is going to have an army of agents. They're going to help them manage their emails, their calendars, and whatever specific tasks they need to accomplish. The AI is going to be able to do it faster, better, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you'll have this army of agents that will help you do 10 to 100 to 1,000x what you could if it was just a human.
Got it. Is it a fair statement you could easily get 50 to 100 emails in a 24-hour period?
Yeah, per company. All right, so we don't own just one company. We own multiple companies. One of them I have close to 6,000 people in that company. Oh, wow. So obviously, most people handle that stuff. But yeah, I get not only the direct emails, but newsletters and, of course, spam and people using AI trying to reach me and things like that.
So why isn't that a problem for you any longer?
Well, because on Christmas Eve, okay, one of our marketing partners, who is an amazing gal by the name of Kim Garst, okay, she's built 7-figure companies online. So she decides on Christmas Eve that she's going to code something that I wanted and Tony wanted, which is, I wanted to create a digital twin. I wanted to create a version of me that sat on top of all these army of agents, but I wanted my data to be private and secure. I also wanted to be able to spin up these agents in real time. Like if I had an idea and I needed a new CFO agent for that business, I wanted to, in 60 seconds or less, be able to deploy an agent that would start doing that. If I wanted a lead generator, I wanted an agent to do that for each of my companies. And so Kim decides, let's start it. And so using Claude Code initially, we framed it out. And then, of course, we brought our AI developers in. And in about 90 days, we coded the world's first AI workspace, where it not only does your emails and your calendars and your projects, it intelligently knows to create projects and files and folder systems. It manages all that, but it also is a create hub. So if I want to create social and I want to build an image or a video or a slide deck, it creates it all in one place by me telling my AI, this is what I want. And so it gets smarter every single day. But in our line of work, I need to make sure that that data is private and secured, and it's not being shared out with Sam Altman or Bill Gates or even Elon Musk, which we're partnered with in one of our companies. I love Elon. He's amazing. He's doing impact work, right? But I don't think one person should have all my data. I think I should have that.
So Operly, what does Operly do different in terms of data as opposed to some of these other technologies?
First off, Operly stands for Operate Simply. Right? So we're trying to simplify people's lives and allow them to be more human. As far as our data, it's every single user has their own private and secured knowledge base and database. And so your data stays your data. If we have a request that goes out to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of the LLMs, it's being filtered through our enterprise version. So it doesn't know that it's you asking that information versus if you have a Claude account or a chat account and you've put your name and email in there, all that data, they know it's you. So when you start asking about health stuff or relationship stuff or financial stuff, they're gathering all that data, which is why just recently ChatGPT, OpenAI said, cool, let's monetize your data and sell ads.
And they sold it to Meta.
Well, they sold to Meta, and Meta, of course, is what? An ad platform. So now everybody who's using the free accounts, their data is being harvested, and they're not being rewarded for it. And to me, that centralized AI is part of the bigger problem. We're building the world's first decentralized AI platform that we, the users, own.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like the AI, handling your calendar, your emails, and in this space, it's called human in the loop, where you're the last look. Are there processes that are a little more sensitive in nature that you have it programmed to like reach out to you before it sends, or?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I recommend you don't let it answer everything, right? Just like if I hired a brand new executive assistant, that person's going to take some time to get to know me, my companies, how I respond, who are my VIPs, right? That get through no matter what. And so your AI, you train that the first couple of weeks by talking to it or typing, and you can actually tell it, this is my wife, this is my son, these are my business partners. They always have priority. Right? And then before it responds on your behalf, you can have it the first couple of weeks or months or whatever you're comfortable with. You can have it draft the response, and then you can edit it and then send it yourself. But when you're ready, you turn it on YOLO. It's called YOLO mode. You only live once.
Right.
Meaning our goal is to give you your time, give you your freedom back. Right? And so once you're ready, you hit YOLO, and that thing goes on its own.
Amazing. So you've fully replaced your human assistant for an AI assistant.
Correct.
Why is it important that people should start learning this process now for themselves?
Well, I think the number one thing is to eliminate digital overwhelm. I always start out when I'm talking to people, I go, hey, how many emails do you have? How many Slacks do you have? How many Telegrams and Signals and WhatsApps? And, it's overwhelming. How many socials, Facebook, Instagram, messages, all this stuff is coming at us. And when I was a kid, that didn't exist, right? It's really been the last 5 years that I think most people have reached this point where they're in digital overwhelm and they don't even want to check their emails.
Right.
Like they're ignoring it. And so when I asked the room, like almost the whole room says that. And I said, what if, and there's money in those emails, right?
Yes.
And I said, what if you knew that everything was being managed and handled in real time, right? What if my AI was talking to your AI? And based on that, it goes, oh, I built a full dossier on you, built a dossier on me. I know the projects we're working on. And it suggested that Tuesday we connect. And what if at that time it also booked the appointment and it put the rally link in our calendars, confirmed it, it was all done on autopilot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So amazing.
So having an executive assistant is great, right? But here's the thing. I've had executive assistants that I've hired in the United States. I've had virtual assistants I've hired in the Philippines. I've hired people all across the world, which is amazing. Here's my personal challenge with it. A lot of my ideas, a lot of my needs happen at all times of day. I travel a lot. I'm on jets. I'm all over the place. I would have to tell them what I wanted. They would have to wake up, interpret that, get back to me, clarify that, then take the action.
Right.
Still, of course, I've trained them. With my AI, I can literally be walking through an airport, and this happened the other day, right?
Okay.
I'm flying commercial this time and coming out of San Juan, headed to Tampa, and the first flight was delayed. Second flight delayed. I'm like, sure enough. Third flight canceled, right? So I pick up my phone. I book another flight on another airline, but I have to go to another terminal. I've only got an hour left. So what do? I booked that flight on another airline, and as I'm walking to get my bag, now the clock is ticking, right? I'm walking to go get my bag, and I tell Operly, hey, Operly, I just booked a flight on another airline. I need you to grab from my email, I need you to grab the confirmation number, all the flight details, put it in my calendar, notify my wife as I'm walking through the airport. I walk up, I hand it to the gate, and they let me right through.
Wow.
So I would have had to call my assistant, tell her what was going on, or I had to dig through my emails and find that, copy, paste all this. So And I'll give you another example of ways it helps people like me. Okay, so I have meeting after meeting after meeting. Okay, and so oftentimes I'm going from one meeting to the next, and I haven't had time to go, well, who am I talking to? What's their background? What should we be talking about? But it hits me one day. I'm like, man, I can build an agent that's my chief of staff. The same way if I'm the president of the United States, I'm never going to walk into a meeting and not know exactly who am I talking to, what's their background, and what should we be talking about specifically.
Right.
So I built an agent literally in 60 seconds and said, Operly, this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at my calendar, and I want you to take the first name and last name, and I want you to scrub the internet. I want you to go to LinkedIn. I want you to go to Facebook. I want you to go to Reddit. I want you to go to all these things, and I want you to build a full dossier on every single person that I'm talking to, and then categorize that. So now when I go into a meeting, I've got a full dossier. I know all of your projects. I know everything you're working on, and the AI knows my goals and my projects, and it says, here's the 3 things you should talk about. Here's their background. Here's links to everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I now show up to meetings, know exactly who I'm talking to, what we're talking about. And this true story, this happened just this week. You know how you get on a call and somebody who's introducing you says, oh, let me tell you a little bit about each of you.
Right.
All right. So as soon as that guy got done doing that, I pulled up his dossier on screen. He took 3 minutes, and I go, oh, it's cool because you just literally said everything on your dossier. He's like, what? He goes, I didn't have to do that. I go, no, I actually knew all this before you got on the meeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful where we're heading in the future and the things that are available to us. Right?
Well, we're here now. It's not even the future. Like, this is live. We rolled this out 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We've got hundreds of people from all different industries telling us, like real estate agents that are saying, you know what? I use this. I built 15 agents, never built anything before. I built 15 AI agents, and now they're going to the MLS and Zillow and the local thing and aggregating my listings, right? I've got another real estate agent who said, I've got an AI agent that now when I get out of a listing, I can simply say, hey, here's the notes from that last meeting. It doesn't have to type it in. You just talk to it, and it goes, oh, that's the homeowner you just met with, that's the buyer, that's the seller, and he can update it in real time, and it remembers all of that.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And for people who are not super techie, like, can we speak to the functionality of Operly and how it's built to even be very easy and user friendly?
Sure. If and that's who we built it for, right? Busy people who don't want to build Claude code. They don't want to set up a Mac Mini. Right. So they're like, all right, I just want something I use. If you can send an email, if you can talk, if you've ever done ChatGPT and typed in a little search box like Google, you can use this platform. It's actually easier. As a matter of fact, the other day I was creating an image. Right. And so just like I would do in Claude or ChatGPT, I said, hey, create an image of fill in the blank. And I said, do a surfer in Puerto Rico. Right. And so it did my favorite surf spot, Rincon. It put a local beer Madala in his hand. Right. And it put a sticker on a surfboard, and he's laying in a hammock on the beach. And I'm like, this is amazing. But have you ever then told the AI, keep everything the same, but make the guy look less scruffy because he had long hair and beard. Yeah. And you spend 20, 30 minutes, you're frustrated, and you're just like, oh, I give up.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I said, keep everything the same, but make him look less scruffy because he had a full beard and he looked like he just got out of the water. And it did it perfectly. The guy was amazing, and it kept everything the same. Yeah. So this AI does what you ask it to do. I created videos, I've created slideshows in one place. I don't have to go to Canva. I don't have to go to Gamma. I don't have to go to Google Slides anymore. It's all inside, and my AI is learning about me and my businesses. I've uploaded my brand. It is so simple. You start training this thing, and the first day you get it, you're like, wow, this is going to be a game changer.
Rough estimate, what would you say in terms of how many hours you're saving a week?
Well, I can probably say I'm saving somewhere between 5 to 7 hours a week already.
Right.
I have over 1,200 things automated in the first 3 weeks.
Wow.
1,200. Okay, so let me give you another example. Because I'm in the AI space, the blockchain space, we own an energy company, we own a healthcare company, we own a media company, right? So how do I keep my finger on the pulse of those? So just take the AI space. Yeah. I have 11 AI experts that have YouTube channels. And so what I used to do on the weekend was I would go through those channels and I go, I'm going to just look at the videos that got the most shares and most likes and most content. And I'm going to use the transcripts to analyze transcripts and go, what did they talk about? What's the latest in the AI this week? And as you may or may not know, there weren't 24,000 AI tools created last year. There were 24,000 AI companies created last year, 24,000. Wow. So how do I keep track of that? How do I know where the market's heading? So I would look at these 11 channels and I would spend about 2 to 3 hours doing research on what they were talking about. So I asked Operly, I go, hey, Operly, because you don't even have to know what it can do. You can just ask, hey, I spent a bunch of time doing this on YouTube. Right. Can you help me with this? And it goes, yeah, Jim, I can analyze all 11 of those. I can see exactly what they're talking about, give you a report on it. Plus, and I didn't tell it to do this, plus I can give you a gap analysis and not only tell you what they're talking about, but what they're not talking about that you should be to differentiate yourself, right? Yeah. And so what was crazy is it picked up this concept of AI agents as operating systems. Now, I was already doing that, but all of the guys that are on my list, and I won't name them, some are friends of mine, some of them I don't know yet. Yeah. Actually, I will name some of them because I think it's important. Like Greg Eisenberg does some great stuff. Yeah. Dan Martell, who's a friend of mine, does great stuff, right? And if you look at all 11 of them, they're all kind of talking about the same things. Yeah. What they weren't talking about is AI agents because only the nerds, and I love nerds, only the nerds have been talking about it because you had to learn how to build those, or you had to install OpenClaw, on a Mac Mini or a VPS or something like that. Well, I hired somebody to come to my house, and after 45 minutes of watching my tech guy mess around with the Mac Mini and OpenClaw, I was like, this isn't going to do it. 99.9% of people are not going to set this up, and they're not going to manage it when it breaks. And it breaks every day because the code's changing every day. Right. So we said, let's create something that they don't have to manage. It's easy to learn, and the price is ridiculous. It is literally like we literally have people go, are you serious? That's all it costs? To fully run and automate not just one company, but multiple? And we're like, yeah, because we want this out there. We want to help humanity be freed up. Mm-hmm. And when those, like Operly sits on top of the Rally blockchain. Okay. So for us, I can do it at very little cost because the value of our digital rewards is going to increase exponentially. So we'll put 1 million people on this platform by the end of this year. And I know that because I've built apps to 1 million people. I did it back in 2014. So, it's 12 years later. I know for a fact we can do it again. So 1 million people at $50 to $200 a month, that's $50 million to $200 million of buy pressure on our digital rewards every month. So I can afford to do our technology at cost, because the value for us comes in making the whole platform, the blockchain, even more valuable.
And let's say somebody doesn't want to just be a consumer. How else can they participate?
Yeah, there's really 3 things. Be a consumer. Use our products and services. If you love our products and services, it's natural for you to say, well, can I own this? Can I be a part of this blockchain community, right? And if that's the owner, so you can be a consumer, you can be an owner, or if you want to be a builder, in other words, you want to be an affiliate and you want to share this with the world, we'll give you additional rewards for doing that. The blockchain is built on community. It's not centralized, it's decentralized. So it takes people like me and you to go, I love those products, right? I want to own them, right, and I want to share them. That's how it works.
That's really cool because, I have this CRM that I use and they've paid me $33,000 since 2020. So this is something similar, right?
It is. I remember I met with Facebook when they had 40,000 users. I was about to deploy $1 million of my own capital to build a social platform. And when I saw what they did, I'm like, these guys are on it. I'm not going to compete with them. Right. But I put Jack Canfield on Facebook. I put a number of thought leaders on Facebook. They didn't even know what it was. This is the early days. Right. Now, Jack has millions of followers on there ever since the movie The Secret came out and things like that. And he's put a bunch of people on there. How much did Facebook pay me for that? Nothing. Now, if I bought their stock, then I get a piece of it. But if they had actually paid me for all the people that I put on their platform, or LinkedIn, or any of these things, because I'm an early adopter of tech, I probably would have made millions of dollars. Absolutely. And so for me, the way I look at it is, people who are willing to use technology and share it with other people should get some kind of reward for that. And in our case, it's digital rewards. So we, the community, own the blockchain. We own the technology, the AI that's sitting on top. And if we share it, we should benefit from it.
1,000%.
Right.
Now, like I've had situations in the past where I'll have like a virtual assistant and I might have to explain things 2 or 3 times. Like walk us through what it's like explaining things to an agent. Do you have to repeat it? Or are you speaking to a specific agent that handles a specific task? Like for the people that have no involvement with this stuff, like how does that work?
Well, so when you log into ours, it defaults to your executive assistant. Yeah. Right. So just like I hire an executive assistant and I tell that guy or gal, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to book flights for me. I need you to, change this appointment. I need you to research this. I need you to update this. Right. My executive assistant sits on top of all the other agents.
Oh, okay.
So I just tell my executive assistant. Now that assistant knows if Jim just asked me to build a strategic marketing plan for this company or for this initiative, this launch that we're doing. Right? That assistant can then tell that agent, or I can manually choose that agent, because if I have trained an agent on a specific company, like our energy company, our solar company, as an example, then it already knows everything about it because I've connected that agent to our knowledge base, which now has 12 years of our company's information in it. So that CMO attached to that company's knowledge base knows everything. It knows our brand, it knows our marketing, it knows everything. Okay, so I can tell my executive assistant, or I can choose that agent that I built in 60 seconds who's already attached to that knowledge base, and it can build all that specific information.
That's really cool.
It's rad, dude. I'm telling you, like it takes people probably 2 to 3 times of using this. Yeah. It's almost like the first time you use ChatGPT and you have that wow moment.
Right.
When somebody gets it, their eyes literally light up and they're like, wait a minute. I can automate a lot of the things that I was doing, which means I'm freed up to spend more time with family or to spend more time out in nature or to make a greater impact.
Right.
And that's really where I come from this is I looked at this and I said, I want to help 1 million entrepreneurs, impact entrepreneurs with their vision, their mission. Now, hopefully that's to make the world a better place.
Right.
Maybe they want to solve energy or food or healthcare or banking or mining, transportation. There's 80 industries that if we attack those 80 industries, and we make those 80 industries more sustainable and better, all of humanity is going to win. Right. And so whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a CEO with tens or hundreds or thousands of employees, if you are here to make a positive impact, we want to support you with the technology that's going to do that. You're part of our tribe. You're part of our community. If you are not doing that, I'm probably not going to help you scale your company. Right?
Yeah. And my current tech stack is a bunch of Google products, right? I have my CRM, WhatsApp. Can all of these things be connected?
In 60 seconds or less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we call them integrations. You can literally log in, and let's say you're a Google user or Microsoft or whatever. You come in there and you hit integrations. Okay. Here, I'll tell you one other thing too after this, but you can hit integrations and then just choose the email. Now I have a personal Gmail. We use Google Workspace for a number of our companies, and we use Microsoft for one of our companies, right? Okay. So I have 6 of them. Okay. And so I can literally plug it. It immediately asks me, do you want me to ingest your emails? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to manage your calendar? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to manage your Google Docs, your sheets? And so I just check, and then it automatically has access to that. And so what's cool is when I'm doing that, it knows my information. It's in real time organizing that information. So if I create new documents, I don't have to tell it to create a folder. It intelligently creates a folder. So those dossiers that I have done, it on its own, it created a CRM folder, then a dossier folder, and every one of my dossiers is in one place. Now I can go look through them, or I can just tell my assistant, hey, pull up the dossier on fill in the blank, right? Mm-hmm. It'll pull up the dossier on Jake, and next thing you know, I'm reading your background and history, right? So
and you can have it assigned to the description component of the calendar link. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so after we get through the podcast or we get through with a meeting or whatever, that transcript can now be tagged back to that person. If there's action items, it can actually do the action items for me. So I can send agents on a mission, and I just tell it the outcome, and I say, hey, listen, I'd like to do more podcasts. Mm-hmm. So I want you to help me get on more podcast shows, right? Mm-hmm. Now the agent is going to recruit 2 other agents. It'll build them in real time, and it'll go out and it'll look at all the podcasts that are about impact. Mm-hmm. It'll put that list together. It'll write a marketing plan for it. It'll draft the email outreach, and it'll ask me if it wants me to send it. Then once they reply, it'll follow up and schedule those appointments.
Oh, wow.
This is the world we live in. So my agents know my outcome, and they follow through on building the strategy and the task to get me to my outcome.
Can Operly replace, like I use Fathom, can it replace that, like in terms of like the meeting notes?
So right now you'd connect it. And what's cool is through an API or a webhook, you can connect it, or Zapier,
Okay.
right? So you can connect just about anything. Your CRM, right? If you're using HubSpot or Go High Level or whatever, you can connect that right in. In the future, we will have our AI transcription service built in through the R-Link right into Operly. Okay. And so every meeting that we have will be transcribed. They already have the AI note taker. That'll be transcribed and fed right into your private secured database in Operly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let's speak to the operator that's listening to this. What type of advantage are they provided centralizing and competing in the marketplace with those who are not this efficient?
Oh, well, speed. Right? The key to success is speed.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I look at this, if I have two people side by side, and let's say one's a coder that uses AI and the other one's a coder that doesn't use AI, who do you think is going to win that race?
Coder using AI.
Times 100.
Yeah.
Okay. What about somebody who's managing multiple projects?
Coder using AI.
Yeah. Every single time.
Yeah.
Right? The AI is going to win. So it's almost like if somebody says, well, I use a typewriter, and somebody else says, I use Google Doc.
Right.
Right? Yeah, I'm going to type this out, I'm going to print it, and I'm going to mail it to you. I do it on a Google Doc, and I send you that, and we can collaborate in real time.
Wow.
You cannot compare the two. So technology is changing very quickly. This is the most disruptive technology that I've seen in 30 years of building companies.
Oh, wow.
Some have been public, some have been private, but I am telling you, and the reason I went all in on this is we're building the AI on top of the blockchain. So it's decentralized, it's private, it's secured. And the people own this AI, right? If you look at ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity, Claude, all of these companies are centralized.
Right.
They are.
Yeah.
We're decentralized.
Yeah.
This technology is not only owned by the people, it's improved by the people. So if you come up with a new idea or feature and everybody wants it, guess what? We're going to go ahead and create that because we are the community that's coding it and building it. And some of our best ideas have come from our community members. Yeah. It's amazing what's happening. And this is just, again, we started coding this on Christmas Eve, 90 days of hard code, and we just launched this thing, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, and I think I've seen in the app somewhere where they can make recommendations for some updates in the...
There's a help section. You can give us bug reports or ideas for improvement. What's cool is we have AI behind the scenes. We have agents behind the scenes that are grabbing all those ideas. And let's say 5 people gave the same idea. The AI will push that to the top of the development, and then the AI will code it.
So awesome.
It's rad.
Yeah. So you've been in AI space for 10 years?
No, I mean, I've known about and talked about AI and blockchain and 9 disruptive technologies since 2014.
Okay.
But we really got into machine learning about 6 years ago.
Okay, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And what do you see? What do you see that, obviously it's helping you a lot, but as a leader, what are some things that cannot be handed off to AI so far?
Well, right now I don't have AI doing my financial transactions. I have it, categorizing things, but I'm not letting it send $1 million to somebody because I'm not going to give it access to my accounts yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So, I've seen some people that set up OpenClaw without guardrails, not knowing what they're doing. And, there's a joke going around the internet like, wow, my AI just negotiated my divorce. I'm happily married. My AI just quit my job. What? And got me a nice settlement. Like there's some jokes going around like that. But if you give this thing the keys to the kingdom, I have no idea what it's going to do.
Right.
We don't do that. Right. So I think it's smart for people to have certain guardrails and be smart with it, but I don't have it doing a wire transfer from me to you for $1 million. I'm going to handle that personally. Right. There is a very near future where I'm going to have my AI that is very well trained, and it will start to buy my food. It'll pay my power bill. It'll do all of those things that I'm currently manually doing myself. So right now AI can do, and you can actually, this is a pretty cool thing. You can ask AI of all the things you do, what can it do and what can't it do? And it'll tell you. So I did this on stage the other day. I won't say the name of this company, but there's a VA company that was recommended on the All In podcast. And I love that. It's an amazing podcast, right? These guys are really smart entrepreneurs. They got their finger on the pulse. And they recommended this VA service, right? That's based out of the Philippines. And so I took that link for that VA, I plugged it into Operly, because on their website, they say, here's all the things we can do for you. In your personal life, we can schedule your flights, we can check your emails, we can da-da-da-da. It listed probably 15 things on the personal. Then you go into business. Well, I can update your CRM, I can, manage your finances, da-da-da-da. It listed all these things. And then I took that and plugged it into Operly. I said, hey, Operly, how many of these things can you do? How many can you automate? And how much will it save me if I'm using you versus that VA? So it scrubbed their website. It listed all the things that it did. It gave me a detailed report. It said, I can do all these things, and side by side, it said, I can do 80% of these things right now. I can automate for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
These 20% I can't do for you. I recommend you have your VA do that. Right? So 80%. And I said, what was the cost? Operly says, I can do this for $200 a month. That VA is $3,500 a month. Think about this. $200 versus $3,500 a month.
Wow.
And my AI doesn't need a break. It doesn't need a coffee break. It never calls in sick.
Yeah.
It never asks for a raise. And I can have multiple agents, or I can hire one virtual assistant. So what I told my virtual assistant, because I still have one, I said, you need to learn this technology today. If you're going to continue to do work for me, if I've just taken 80% off of your plate and this 20% you still need to do, you now became 5 times more effective. In other words, you can do 5 times the things that you couldn't do before. 20% times 5 is 100%. So if I'm going to keep this person working for me full time, I now have 20% times 20 times 20 times 20. I have other things this person can do for me that she didn't have the bandwidth to do because the AI is doing all the other 80%.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because you're leading by example. You've run companies. The one thing I do want to hear from you is like, how excited are you as an entrepreneur to now have access to these tools that are helping you do all of these time-saving tasks and making you more efficient? Because you obviously at midnight, when you have an amazing idea, can't like message your virtual assistant. Like, how has this benefited your life personally?
True story. My wife will confirm this. This is probably a week ago. I don't sleep a lot anyways, right? And so when I wake up with a download from God about an idea or business, I literally grabbed my phone. This is 3:23 in the morning last week. I grabbed my phone, and my son's in college, right? He's in his second year. He's in international business and Japanese. And I told him, I said, listen, the world is changing drastically.
Right.
What you're learning in school is irrelevant. I looked at his curriculum and I asked him, I said, what are you learning about business? And he's like, not a lot, just foundational. He goes, we're kind of doing case studies and things like that. And I said, okay, you're going to learn by doing.
Right.
And so at 3:23 in the morning, I had this download. And as you know, we have a pretty sizable solar company. We have put solar panels on tens of thousands of homes. Not once has someone called me and said, hey, I have a solar panel cleaning business. So I'm laying in bed, right? So you'd think, call the solar companies. They've got tens of thousands of clients.
Right.
So I'm laying in bed. I pick up the phone. I ask Operly. I said, hey, listen, I would like you to work with me. I'm in bed. I'm typing, and I wasn't talking. My wife was sleeping. And I'm typing this. I go, I just had a download. I'd like you to help me build a business plan for the world's first AI automated, fully automated solar panel cleaning business. I want my son to be able to start this in college. I want him to be able to include his friends if he would like to. I'd like him to be able to travel the world and run this business as a one-person entrepreneur, and it's got to do at least $500 million in revenue.
Wow.
So 5 hours later, because I was going through everything, I have a 28-page business plan. The full brand is built. The marketing strategy is built. The sales and operations processes are built. The financials are built. And I'm not going to give away the secrets on this because I'm about to launch this. But we are using AI technology to reach out to the homeowners, to show them the value of having their panels clean, which is about 18% efficiency boost.
Oh, wow.
And we've got a secret I'm not going to share on here, but a way to book those appointments, take the payments, deploy a driver to those homes in real time. And there's 5 other revenue streams that came out of it. I did all of that using Operly, built the plan, sent it to my son, and I said, here's the business we're going to do together. It's guaranteed to win.
No wonder you're not getting any sleep.
Yeah. So if I'm excited, yeah. But think about that. If I can help homeowners recover 18% of their energy production for $100 to $150, I'm saving them thousands of dollars. I'm also helping the whole grid keep more of that energy.
Right.
And I'm helping my son build a real business that's going to make an impact. There's a whole charity side to this business that we built out. Make a huge impact, give young entrepreneurs around the world the chance to be a part of an amazing culture, be in the energy industry, travel the world and do this from anywhere in the world. Just like they could drive Uber anywhere in the world, they can do this business from anywhere in the world. And it took me 5 hours to write the plan and to source all of the software and the code that we need. And it's even writing code for us.
Easily saved you weeks of time.
Yeah, we can do more faster. And that's what excites me is that my first goal is I want to help 1 million impact entrepreneurs and impact CEOs scale their vision, their mission. Let's go fix energy. Let's make it clean and sustainable and decentralized. Let's go make our food healthy again. Let's use regenerative farming, right? Let's build companies that do the things that we want to leave the planet better, to leave humanity better. And that's why we're launching this software, is that we want to help millions of entrepreneurs. And a lot of these people are going to be displaced. I mean, in all transparency, this will now be public news. Our solar company just let go of 50% of our W-2s, right? Half of them. They were no longer necessary because AI is replacing them. But now they can use Operly to continue to contribute to the vision and mission by starting their own companies, starting their own, because they worked inside of our companies for years. Now let's help you spawn your own business. Let's help you create a greater impact by clarifying your vision, your mission, and building your AI company.
Yeah. And for the younger generations that are actually listening to this, like where would you tell them to focus their attention to be prepared for what's coming?
I think you have to look at the disruption that AI is happening in every industry. There isn't any industry that's not being disrupted. Right now, I kind of joke, and I'm like, when I'm talking to older people, when I say older, I'm 57, right? Okay, yeah. And so I get asked to speak in front of all kinds of audiences. The other day, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and there's 300 functional medicine doctors and the vendors to that. So this is like, the infrared light beds, the stem cells, the exosomes, all this cool, amazing technology that's going to make us healthier. And so I'm showing them in real time, demoing what our AI can do to help them reach more people, make a greater impact on health. And so when you look at what's happening across the board, we're going to be able to reach a lot more people. We're going to be able to make better margins. We're going to make more profit. Ultimately, every industry is going to be impacted by AI. Right. And so you need to dive in. You need to start using this immediately. Right. And when you do that, when you start using AI, it's going to unlock ideas you never had. All right. It's going to invent new businesses, new technologies, things that we couldn't do without AI. Right. And I ultimately think that AI is here to increase the HI. I think artificial intelligence is here to improve the human intelligence. I agree. I also think, and this is maybe a spiritual view on life, is there's 8.4 billion humans on the planet. 5.4 billion are connected through this device right here, right? Yeah. Through the internet and through mobile and through computers. It's the first time in our species history that every one of us has been connected. Wow. Think about this, the power of that. We can literally move humanity into a new direction. Right. So being a waterman, a surfer, I've been underwater and I've seen a school of fish just change directions immediately. Right. I think humanity now has the technology. We have the intelligence to move in a new direction immediately. And I think that's why it's here. I also think the second big thing is I think humanity has been quietly enslaved. I don't think people realize how much time they've been spending on screens, right? Whether it's the phone or the computer or the TV, whatever it is. They don't realize that 6, 8, 10 hours a day, the majority of our waking hours, have been staring at screens and less time connecting with each other, with our family, with our loved ones, with our community, and with nature. And I believe that the combination of AI plus robotics to create a greater impact is going to free up humanity. I also think that the blockchain is that universal basic income.
Right.
What do I mean? Ask yourself this question. If AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, how are people going to pay for their homes, their cars, their meals?
I have no idea.
Well, what's being talked about is a universal basic income.
Right.
Well, where's that going to come from? It's going to come from the techno companies that are harvesting all of our data and making trillions of dollars, or the government.
Right.
Neither one of those sounds good to me.
No.
It sounds like that we're getting a handout. It sounds like socialism. It sounds like we're enslaved to those companies.
Right.
If they want to turn off your access to capital or food or fuel, they can.
Wow.
I do not want them controlling our futures.
No.
But I am okay with us owning the blockchain that is building all this technology, and each one of us having our own currencies,
Right.
having our own AI technologies
Right.
that we control, that we profit from. So I think that this is the right solution, where every single individual contributes and is rewarded for owning the blockchain, and every single company that sits on top of it. I think the future, which is now,
Right.
is that every company will sit on top of a blockchain. And that'll create trust, it'll create transparency, but it'll also create digital rewards. And those rewards currently can buy food, they can pay your power bill, they can pay for your AI. It's already happening. We've proven this out.
Right.
Right? So we're that test case. We have 14 live blockchains right now that are doing just that. You can literally buy healthy, regenerative farmed food, and from the token that you've mined, you can ship that meat, that honey, that colostrum to your house and have it on your plate tonight. Wow. That's already happening.
So cool.
Yeah, that's the future that we're creating. And if you want to go solve these problems with us, come join us.
Yeah.
We will help you learn how to use this technology to create a better life for you and your family.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that thread, last question here. What do you see as the vision of Operly, and how can people be a part of this movement?
So I go back to vision when I think about Walt Disney.
Okay.
Right? So Walt Disney saw films. He saw rides. He saw characters, right? He saw theme parks. And so, but then Walt Disney also had others who came in and carried more vision and made other things. And so right now, the vision of Operly is to eliminate digital overwhelm, to free up the entrepreneur, to free up humanity. What it becomes is 100% up to the community.
Right.
Right? I believe it's going to become that central hub, that one workspace that we log into right now. Eventually, you won't even log into it. This thing's going to be running. Like the amount of time that I spend on it will decrease as it gets smarter and smarter. Right. Now, with who I am, I'll probably spin up 50 more companies next year, right? Yeah. Because I have the framework to do that. Right. But what I see is that this operating system, Operly, operating simply, is just going to need my training and my guidance, and then it's going to start to create. It's going to start to solve problems, and it might turn those into businesses or into products and services. So the vision for Operly today is that we help humanity build an operating system. Okay. And my ultimate goal is to shift the operating system for humanity. If you sit outside of Earth, use Google Earth VR, and you look back and you're like, what do humans need to operate? Right? We definitely need energy. All this stuff is powered by energy. Yeah. But I personally think every person would go, you know what? I'd like to have clean energy, sustainable energy. Right. I'd like to power it by the sun and the wind and geothermal. I probably don't want nuclear, which is toxic for 100,000 years. I probably don't want coal and gas, which is polluting everything and heating us up. So let's choose clean energy. I want clean food. I want clean transportation. I want to own all of this with the people. So I think the vision is that we're going to shift every single industry, and I think Operly is going to be one of the fastest technologies to be adopted to free up humanity, to help them scale their visions and their missions, and to bring a community of people together that create and collaborate and create a new future for all of our kids and our grandkids and their grandkids.
Beautiful. Yeah. So awesome. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Jake Cortez and Jim Bunch. If this is something that you would like to learn more about, or you're an operator and you're like, how do I get started? Click the link below, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side.